Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is your favorite YouTuber Mukesh Soni. Friends, in this video I will analyze a very interesting one-act play, the Swan song, written by the famous Russian author, Russian writer Anton Chekhov, and this play is translated from Russian to English by Marian Fell. So before that, let's know a brief information about the author, the writer Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov was a Russian playwright and a short story writer who is very much regarded as one of the greatest figures in the world literature. He was born in Taganrog, Russia. He initially trained as a doctor. As a doctor he was trained. Later, he devoted his life to writing. He is known for his keen observation of human nature, subtle humor, and ability to portray the complexities of everyday life. His works often explore the themes of loneliness, unfulfilled desires, and or the struggles of ordinary people. So in this play, we will come across some Russian names. So I'll try my best to pronounce these names properly. Then let's know about the play. The Swan Song, it's a one-act play written by Anton Chekhov in 1887. It's a short, dramatic sketch which explores the old age, loneliness, regret, and the meaning of art. The play is about an actor who has become very old, an aging actor who has become very old, and he is at the end of his life. And in this play, he reflects on his career and he feels that how he had wasted the opportunities. And now, today, he has become the emptiness of fame. People are not asking him because he has become old. So, this title, Swan Song, refers to the ancient belief that swans sing a beautiful song just before they die. So here it symbolizes the actor's final passionate performance before the end of his life. So we have here two important characters in this play. One is Vasily Vasily Svitlovidov. I'll try to pronounce this properly. The main character, Vasily Svitlovidov. So Vasily Svitlovidov, he's a 68-year-old actor who has spent 45 years on stage, performing on stage. Very much talented, very much admired once upon a time. But now he has become old, lonely, and full of regret. He is a central character of the play, and the play is essentially, we can say, his confession and also his farewell. Second character we have here, Nikita Ivanich. Nikita Ivanich is a prompter of the theater, just like the old man. He's also an old man, but he's a prompter who prompts, who helps the main actor. He's a very poor person, very forgotten. He has no home. He always sleeps in the theater. And he acts as a listener and he supports Lovidov, the main actor on stage. Though Nikita Ivanich role is very small but important, he gives Lovidov like a company that to whom the Vasily speaks, even he joins him, sometimes reciting the lines while on the stage. So these are the two characters we find here, two old men. The one is the main old man who is the main performer, Vasily Lovidov. Second, another old man, Nikita Ivanich. It's not a girl, it's a man. Indian context, we call Nikita as a girl, but here, old man who is a prompter, who is a supporter to Vasily. So let's begin the story here. With the help of the themes, we'll try to understand. Have patience, quite long video. So the very first, the empty theater. The play opens on the dark, deserted stage of a country theater at night, a theater in a village. There's nobody on the theater. It's a night scene. There are unpainted doors, broken props, and rubbish lying here and there on theater. And in the middle, there is an overturned stool. In the middle, there's an overturned stool, and Swite Lovitov, who is an actor who is 68 years old, he enters from his dressing room holding a candle. Who is entering on stage holding a candle. Then he laughs at himself because he had fallen asleep drunk in his dressing room after the show. So after the show, he had boozed, he had drunk, and he had fallen asleep. So he's laughing at himself. He realizes that everyone has gone home. There's no audience, and he's alone. He's left alone behind. He calls out for his assistants. He calls his assistants, Yegorka, Petrushka, but no one answers. The theater is silent except for the echoes of his call for his assistants. He complains that though the performance was for his benefit and the audience gave him money, drinks, and wreaths, but no one stayed to look after him. Everybody has gone. He's alone in the theater now. Then, further, he feels miserable. Why? He's old and weak. His body burns with drink. He consumes alcohol a lot. He has 20 tongues in his mouth, means to say his throat is very dry. He has a headache as well. He admits his life is over. How? He starts comparing himself. He starts comparing his life to a wine bottle, and he has drained it, and now only bitter drops remain. That means to say he has very short life. He says it's time for him to rehearse the part of a mummy. He says that it's time for him to rehearse the part of a mummy. Now, the empty, cold theater frightens him because he's alone now. There's no audience. The stage feels like a graveyard. He feels the wind like a ghostly breath. He imagines death as hiding in the darkness. He scolds himself for drinking and acting foolish at this at his age. He's speaking to himself, and he's scolding himself that you have become so old and you are drinking and you are acting foolishly at this age. He thinks of death and he says, at 68 people go to church, but here I am drunk in a clown's costume. Finally, he decides to change his clothes, but then he sees a figure. He sees somebody, he gets frightened. Now let us see who is somebody. The prompter appears here. Who is this somebody? The prompter appears here. Svitlovidov screams in fear. He thinks there's a ghost here. But the figure, the person who appears in front of him is not a ghost. It is Nikita Ivanich, the old prompter, another assistant. And Nikita Ivanich explains he spends nights in the theater because he has no other home. He's also homeless. And he requests Svitlovitev not to tell the manager. He says to Vasily Svitlovitev that please don't tell the manager I spend nights in the theater because I don't have any home. Then Svitlovitev relaxes and he calls him lovingly as Nikitushka. With love, they call it Nikitushka. He tells Nikita how much applause he got that evening. The audience called him out 16 times, gave him wreaths and gifts. So he's appreciating his acting on stage, how the audience reacted. But after all that, no one cared to wake him and take him home because he was drunk later. He felt asleep, and he says that all the audience went home and nobody cared for him, and today he's alone. He breaks down, starts crying. He hugs Nikita. He says, I'm 68 years old and it's time for me to die. Confession of loneliness. Sviat Lovidov refuses to go home. He says he has no family, he has no wife, he has no children. So he compares himself to the wind which blows over the lonely fields. He will die and nobody will remember him. He says, whom do I belong to? Who needs me? Who loves me? Not a soul. Nikitushka, not a soul. Nikita tries to comfort him, saying, your audience loves you, master. Your audience loves you, master. Then, but Sviat Lovidov replies, saying that the audience claps, then goes home, forgets him. They buy his photographs, but will never let their daughters marry an actor. He feels like dirt under their feet. Sviat Lovidov recalls his youth. He remembers, he says that once he served in the artillery army. He was aristocratic, he was handsome, he was daring in his young age. A pure, beautiful woman once loved him for his acting, but when he proposed marriage, she said, give up the stage. She could admire an actor, but never marry one. So this is what he recalls about his young age when somebody loved him, and she told him that he had to leave the stage, but they they admired they admired an actor, but she never married him. So this broke his heart. He realized actors were only playthings for the society. Then he says, the wasted career. Sviat Lovidov admits, he says that he was once upon a time, he was a great artist. He had talent, grace, eloquence, power, but all he wasted it. He ended up he ended up playing buffoons, clowns, silly roles because he has grown old, so he is getting all the low profile roles on the stage. He calls himself a merry Andrew, a fool, a man swallowed up by the black pit of old age. He realizes that tonight, for the first time, he truly feels what it means to be old when no one is left here, when he feels himself alone. He sobs. He says, it is all over, all over. Return of the actor in him. Suddenly, his mood changes. He remembers his lines from the great plays and begins to act with passion. Suddenly, something happens to him, and he starts reciting those lines, the lines of Dmitri, which is from the play of Boris Godunov, written by Pushkin, and he starts reading the lines of King Lear's speech in the storm, and he starts reciting those lines in a great passion. And Sviat Lovidov, he recites a line, and he starts imagining the storm, the thunder, because he was reading the lines of King Lear's speech of the thunder of the storm speech. Then he becomes so energetic, so stamping, so shouting, and he starts acting like in his youth. A great change. He calls Nikita Ivanich to take the fool's role. He calls Nikita that why don't you play the role of the fool? Even the Nikita Ivanich recites a fool's line. Together they perform the famous storm scene from the play King Lear. Then these recitations are very important because they revive his lost youth and passion. For a brief time, for a short time, he forgets his loneliness and feels like a great actor again. Then they perform lines from Hamlet, the scene with the recorders. With the recorders, they starts performing the lines from Hamlet. Sviat Lovidov delivers them with fiery brilliance and he laughs. He says, bravo! Encore, I'm not old, nonsense. I feel young and alive. So he has become more energetic by reading these lines on stage. He says, where there is art and genius, there's no old age, no loneliness, no sickness, not even death. Now, but, let's not forget the bitter truth. What is this? But soon this enthusiasm fades. Why? Sweet Lovidov breaks down again. Again, he starts crying and he says, I'm no genius. I'm squeezed. I'm a squeezed lemon. I'm sorry. I'm a squeezed lemon. A cracked bottle. Nikita, you are just an old prompter, a rat of the theater. Both of them are finished, he says. Still, he continues to recite the lines from Shakespeare's Othello and the other plays as they prepare other plays, and later they starts leaving the stage. He clings to art even though he knows his career is over. The curtain falls slowly as Sweet, Sweet Lovidov and Nikita Ivanich, they both of them they exit together, and there the one act play ends here. Now, why it is called as a swan song? Let's try to connect it. That was just a story. In legend, swans sing beautifully just before death. Now, as far as Swite Lovitov, the main character, is concerned, this night he has acted his life's last acting in the empty theater just before the exit, before we can say before the exit of his acting, just like a swan sings before its death. So, number one, he has recalled his past. He acts out his favorite roles one final time, and he has given his farewell to life and the art. Now, what are the themes we find in this play here? First theme we find here, the old age, the pain of losing youth, strength, and respect, which are the common characteristics of old age. Loneliness, fame and applause do not replace love, family, and companionship. Illusion versus reality. On stage, Swite Lovidov is a hero, but in real life, he is just a lonely, forgotten drunkard. Art as immortality. Theater gives him moments of eternal youth, even if only short time, very briefly. Tragedy of the actor's life. Society admires actors but looks down on them personally. We can connect here saying that one lady, she loved him, but she told that if you want to get married, you have to quit acting. So let's conclude. Thus, the one act play Swan Song is both touching and very tragic. It shows how an actor who once lived for applause must finally face silence, loneliness, and death with only and only his art to comfort him. What is going to comfort him? Only and only his art is going to comfort him. So, this is how I have tried my best to summarize Anton Chekhov's famous one-act play, The Swan Song. This is in the syllabus of third semester BCom General English SCP syllabus under Bangalore North University. So friends, thank you so much for watching this video, and please do subscribe the channel for more videos. Just have an eye, just keep watching the playlist. If any queries you have, you can reach me at the email ID mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Thank you once again.